You ain't built for a spirit as a nigga can be. It's gonna sound like when I'm coming, when I'm coming, when I'm coming for ya. It's gonna sound like when I'm coming, when I'm coming, when I come for ya. It's gonna sound like y'all don't really work like
What up, what up, what up, football fans? Welcome to another episode of the Blitz brought to you by Game Changers. I'm your host, Big C, and y'all know the co-host, Mike Jones. What up, cuzzo?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Struggling getting used to this cold weather again, man. I'm telling you, it's freezing all the time. My house is 1 second it's freezing in here, next second it's so hot, can't breathe. Like there's no in between. Just drives me nuts. I'm not a big fan of the winter time, besides like if we get a bunch of snow, which we haven't gotten a bunch of snow in our area. I mean, you're up in the sticks right now, but we don't get a lot of snow here. So it's just cold, miserable weather.
Right.
And even if we did get a lot of snow after Christmas time, I'd be done with it. You know what I mean? Like I like the other seasons way better than like autumn's
the
a
house
good time,
seasons,
sweatshirt
like-
time, you know, hot chocolate time. It'd just be too damn cold, bro. Too damn cold.
I feel that.
Freezing.
Yeah, I know. When it went to take some stuff out of my car yesterday, and I threw my back out. I've been laying on the bed all day, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, about three.
How'd you do that?
I had my speakers, and I was pulling my speakers out of the trunk, and I got them over by the car, opened the door, and I went to lift it, and all of a sudden just hear a pop, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't get up, I couldn't get down, I couldn't move left, I couldn't move right.
That's it getting old, man. Like you gotta warm up and stretch before you go carry the groceries in and shit.
Yeah, I know, right? I was
Your
like,
body just be, you know what I mean?
it's horrible.
It definitely sucks to be getting old. I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm doing something with TD tomorrow on his channel, TD Fins Talk. I'm not sure on a time. He was trying to get with me earlier in the day, and I'm not really available before noon. He's such a busy guy that I'm not sure what time it's going to be, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah, and remember there's a mini relaunch of the Game Changers on January 1st, where we'll be giving out $1,000. You must be subscribed, and you got to be present. You got to be here to win. You got to be here to win, man. I don't have no way to contact you. You got to be here. So keep an eye out for that. And then you tell me who loves you. You tell me who loves you, because you got all these podcasters, and like I said, I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody. You know, people getting these 40, 50,000 subscribers, and they giving out a jersey. You know what I mean? You're paying you're paying all their bills, and they giving out a jersey for 50,000 subscribers. We giving you $1,000 just for being you, just for checking us out, just giving us a shot.
Yeah.
You ain't paying my bills. you ain't paying my bills.
Yeah, you didn't even buy me this Pepsi I'm drinking.
Yeah, man. You could at least buy me a drink.
The hell, man.
Buy you a drink.
Ugh.
Oh, so we're getting down to the nitty gritty of this NFL season. Things continue to go bad for my Miami Dolphins, just not in the right way. You know what I mean? Like, we still have a shot at the playoffs mathematically, but like, these teams, we need teams to win and lose for us. And last week, we got zero help in that category. I mean, it's not like the teams that we needed to lose didn't try to lose. It's just the teams that we needed to win didn't try to win. For instance, the New York Football Jets, them dirtbag piece of garbage, no good New Jersey living ass people. They couldn't even beat the Colts. They was up the whole game and you couldn't beat the Colts. Trash. Double trash. Not the San Diego Chargers. The LA Chargers, they tried to give Atlanta the game multiple times. But Kirk Cousins wants to go out and throw 4 interceptions for no reason. You're just a bum. It's time for the Atlanta Falcons to look in another direction. That Michael Penix they got on the bench. Maybe they should give him an opportunity. And then the Denver Broncos. We need them to lose also. They're down the whole game to Jameis Winston. Mind you, Jameis Winston is a character. This guy in his post-game rants and sideline reports, and he's just a character. He is a character. I don't know if he's half crazy or if it's an act, but that man's got a couple of bolts loose. They're beating the Broncos. They got them beat. This man wants to come out and throw 2 pick sixes. Two of them.
That was rough.
2 of them.
I was like, they got it. They about to take down the Broncos, and now it's a pick. I'm like, well, they got it back. They got it. He throws a pick. I'm like, what? It was a good game though.
Yeah, it would have been a good game if they would have beat the Broncos. But there's still a little bit of life left in my Miami Dolphins. And we got to, of course, handle our business. And our business this week is against those no good, dirty dogs from New Jersey, the Jets. And I think everybody should tune into that game. Not because I think it's going to be the greatest game in the world. I expect my Miami Dolphins to handle the New York Jets. But because you're going to witness history, you're going to witness something that you'll never be able to see again, and that's Aaron Rodgers start a football game. This will be the last start of Aaron Rodgers' career. After this week, he will be benched, and that will end his career because there's no other NFL team that is going to give Aaron Rodgers a shot next year. Nobody's giving him a contract next year. No one's signing him and his entourage to a deal. So Aaron Rodgers is going to be forced into retirement, and he's caused all these problems. And it's sad to a point because Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But Aaron's done it to himself. Aaron's blackballed himself. And people used to be able to put up with his shenanigans. But now that he is a mediocre 41-year-old quarterback, teams are no longer willing to do that. His own team doesn't even want him playing right now. Owner Woody Johnson was on record saying that he wanted Aaron Rodgers benched after week 5. So he's on his final legs, and I believe that the loss to the Miami Dolphins this week will put that final nail into the coffin of a great career. It was a great career, but it's ran its course. And it's time for Aaron to go to whatever igloo or TP or ride off into the sunset. And thank you for all the great memories, all the Hail Marys, all the fantastic plays that
The
You've
Lambo leaps.
you've given us over the years, but it's over. I think it's only right that we hold a moment of silence for the great Aaron Rodgers and his NFL career. So we'll do a little 10-second salute to you, Aaron, because it all ends this week. Bow your head. Thank you. But anyway, let's get down to it. Let's get down to it. It's Wednesday. It's hump day.
Hump day. Mike.
Hump day.
Mike.
So of course we'll go over the Thursday night game. But I mean Mondays we do the reviews of all the games. Friday we do all the previews. Let's take a look here on this hump day, this wonderful hump day, at the top NFL MVP candidates so far through week 14. I think we'll probably start doing this on a weekly basis on Wednesday. It's a good opportunity to take a look at who our favorites are, and Mike's might differ than mine. Mine might differ from Mike's, and yours might differ from both of ours, which is cool. Who's your top five? Who's your top five MVP candidates to this point in the season? Let us know. Interact.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Mike, you want to start off, or
Number 5.
5-1? One's your MVP, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Number 5. Patrick Mahomes. Yes, sir. Number 4. Jared Goff. Number 3. Lamar Jackson. Number 2. Saquon Barkley. And number 1, I don't like to say it, but Josh Allen. My top 5.
Do you have any reasoning behind?
Patrick Mahomes, I put him down
Any
there.
supporting evidence?
It's just the feel I get from the Chiefs as a whole. I don't feel like they're a top team. They're a top team, but I don't feel like they got what it takes to win this year. Lamar Jackson's he fell from the top spot for me down to 3rd just because Saquon's been playing consistently every week. They're winning every game. You can't count on Baltimore to win the game, so I moved them down. And Josh Allen's at number 1 just because they've been pretty unstoppable. So, and then I got Goff ahead of Patrick just because I think that he should be.
Oh.
And
Okay.
that's all I got to say about that.
All right, my top 5's a little bit. Obviously, we're gonna have some of the same people. Obviously, number 5, I got Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's got 1,407 yards at this point, 13 rushing touchdowns. He's got another 13 catches for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's 15 total touchdowns. Derrick Henry I don't think anybody thought that he was going to go to Baltimore and have this type of impact or produce this amount of stats. I think people thought he was on his last legs. But he's been a beast this year. He's been a beast. And he's second in the league in rushing, and he's an absolute monster. Nobody wants to tackle Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's a big boy, and the guy runs 21 miles an hour. Like, nobody wants to deal with that. And you would think he would start to slow down. He's at that age where they say that running backs can't produce. And I think that's why he had a limited market in free agency. But I mean, Derrick Henry's showing teams that they need to invest. It's all right to invest in running backs in free agency. It's all right to trust a running back over the age of 30 years old. And even Saquon Barkley, too. Like Saquon, there wasn't a lot of contract offers for him. Nobody wanted to pay him the money, but I think both these backs are showing that
Show me the
it's
money.
all right. and they can have major impacts on your team. So, number 5, I got Derrick Henry. Number 4, I got Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts he doesn't get as much love as a lot of the other top quarterbacks in this league. And I'm not even saying he's necessarily as good as the other quarterbacks that are considered elite, or the other quarterbacks that are at the top of the league. But Jalen Hurts puts up damn good stats. Jalen Hurts this year has 2,494 yards, 14 passing touchdowns. He's completing 64.2% of his passes, has a quarterback rating of 101.8. Now, in 5 interceptions, 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Now, you would think those aren't that great of numbers, you know what I mean? But on the ground, what he does on the ground, he has 485 rushing yards as a running back. I mean, I'd like to know what ranking that would be in running backs. I mean, I'm not saying it's top 10 or anything, but 485 yards for a quarterback. He's going to surpass that 500-yard mark easily. That's a lot of yards. This man has 12 rushing touchdowns. 12. That is a lot of rushing touchdowns. I think Derrick Henry leads the league in rushing touchdowns at 13, and Jalen Hurts has 12. So that takes him up to 26 total touchdowns, over right around 3,000 yards combined. The guy's playing at a high level. He's got this Philadelphia team playing at a high level. And some will argue it's Saquon. Some will say Jalen. I think it's both of them. They're both just playing at a high level right now. And I mean, Jalen Hurts has had this Philadelphia Eagles team in the Super Bowl without Saquon.
He's a good leader.
So it's not like Saquon came here and turned this team around. Jalen Hurts had them in the Super Bowl without Saquon. So he's having a phenomenal season. He's number 4 for me. Number 3, I got Saquon Barkley, his teammate. The fact that Jalen Hurts runs the ball so well actually hurts Saquon in this argument. Out of them 12 touchdowns that Jalen Hurts has, how many of those should have probably been Saquon's? 9 of them? 10 of them? You know what I mean? Saquon could be sitting there at record-breaking touchdown numbers right now if it wasn't for Jalen Hurts' ability to run that tush-push, having Jalen Hurts has some of the strongest legs in football.
Or it could have went the other way. He could have got shut down and didn't make it in. So,
yeah, I mean, just the amount of it says a lot about this Philadelphia Eagles team that they've had so many opportunities inside the red zone to rush the football in for touchdowns. That says a lot about this offense, that they're putting themselves in positions to succeed. And if I was other teams in the NFL, I'd be worried.
I mean, that's
Because
why.
when Philly gets down there, they're scoring.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have something to say?
Oh, I mean, that's why I got Saquon number 2, just because he's going for that record. I mean, 2,105 yards, although he does have an extra game to do it. So I guess it's not as impressive. So if he should come out with somewhere around 22 something, if it'd be really impressive.
Well, how many games does he have left?
I think they got 4, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he's at 1,500 yards. I don't know if he's getting the. I don't know if he's getting the 2,000 yards.
I don't know.
I mean, he's been so impressive, and he's had huge games. That's a tall task to ask for. And who knows how much of the last game he plays if they're in a position to overtake Detroit for the number 1 seed. They might rest people, you know. And Saquon, there's been a clip that's gone around about he was on the verge of breaking a single game record, and Sirianni went over to him and said, "Hey, you're this close. I was going to put some of the backups in. Do you want to stay out there and get it?" And he was like, "Nah, let the young boys eat." And Sirianni was like, "You sure? I'll put you in." He's like, "Nah, it's cool. Let the young boys eat. I'm good."
Yeah,
So Saquon's not all about the numbers. Saquon spent so much time in such a bad organization that he's just worried about winning.
yeah. I mean, they got 5 games left because I think he needs to average. I seen he needed to average like 121 point something a game. So it's definitely doable.
That's the break the single season record, right?
Yeah. But like
I
I
mean,
said,
even if he gets to 2,000 yards, that's very impressive.
it's impressive, but at the same time, even if he breaks the record, like I said, I think he would need 2205 just because he's got an extra game than Dickerson had. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, Dickerson had an extra 2 games than OJ had. You know what I mean? Like back when OJ broke the record, I think they were playing 14 games a year.
True.
So I mean, people might say something about it at first, but that's what it is. What it is. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
If they're going to continue to add games, they're going to continue to break records, and maybe it doesn't feel special, but 30 years from now, they won't look at it like that.
And teams are also different. Number two.
Number two. I have Josh Allen. The Buffalo Bills were playing phenomenal football. Buffalo, the only teams hotter than Buffalo right now are probably Detroit and maybe Philadelphia. They're a top 3 team in this league. Josh Allen is he's been great this year. He's been great. By far his best season in my opinion. He's not turning the ball over like he has in prior years. I mean, he was the turnover machine. And this year he's been so much more smart with the ball. He's just been better. He's just been better. He's making better choices. He's seeing the field better. And I think he knows that without Stephon Diggs there, without another big name receiver, and I know they brought in Amari Cooper, but Josh Allen is the unquestionable leader of this team, and nobody's gonna. It's not even close. Like no one's gonna question Josh Allen. Josh Allen is the leader of this football team, and I think that takes some pressure off his shoulders. He don't got to try to impress Diggs. He don't got to make sure Diggs is getting 8 to 9 targets, 10 targets a game. He's just going out there playing football, and he'll pass it to who he wants when he wants. You know what I mean? And I think that's pressure off Josh Allen's plate, and it's allowed him to be more consistent and just play a better overall football. He's got 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 2,691 yards passing, a 100 quarterback rating. He has another 334 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground. And then the craziest stat, he has 7 yards receiving without a catch and a receiving touchdown. The man has receiving yards and a receiving touchdown without catching a pass. So he's got great numbers. You can argue back and forth between Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. Their numbers are close. They both have, Josh Allen has 27 touchdowns because of the receiving. Jalen Hurts has 26. Passing yards, overall yards are close. Quarterback ratings. So, I mean, what puts Josh Allen over Jalen Hurts? Their team's records are close. I mean, they're basically having the same season on different teams. But I think Josh Allen's the better player, and you know, Jalen Hurts may deserve it too, but I just have Josh Allen. I just got Josh Allen at 2, okay?
Yeah, leave it at that.
And at number 1, I still got Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, when you take a look at this is why Josh Allen gets an MVP. Because you go and look at Josh Allen's stats and 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, that's impressive. 2,691 yards, that's impressive. 334 yards rushing, that's impressive for a quarterback. 6 rushing touchdowns, that's impressive. Lamar Jackson has 29 passing touchdowns, that's 9 more than Josh Allen. He has 3 interceptions, that's 2 less than Josh Allen. He's got 3,290 passing yards. That's 500 more yards passing than Josh Allen. He's got a 67 completion percentage. Josh Allen's quarterback ranking is 100.6 or 100.3. Lamar Jackson's is 116.3. Oh, you want to go rushing? Josh Allen has 334 rushing yards. Lamar Jackson has 678 rushing yards. And then Lamar Jackson's got 3 touchdowns, but rushing. Josh Allen had 6, but I equate that Josh Allen doesn't have Derrick Henry in his backfield. Lamar Jackson is having another MVP season. And this is supposed to be an individual award. It's not supposed to be a team award. And I know the Buffalo Bills have a better record, and the Baltimore Ravens have looked inconsistent as a team this year. But again, we had talked about it last show. Out of the losses that the Baltimore Ravens have, I think they've lost by 22 total points. Justin Tucker has 22 points worth of missed kicks. If Justin Tucker has been the Justin Tucker of years prior, what would the Ravens' record be? So I'm not going to punish Lamar Jackson for the overall record of the Baltimore Ravens. In my, it's clear as day. Lamar Jackson's stats are clearly they're better. They're better. And I mean, you can argue anything you want, but you can't argue numbers. Josh Allen's numbers are inferior to Lamar Jackson's. You can say the eye test, this, that. I mean, Lamar Jackson 3 weeks ago was everybody's MVP, so it's not like Lamar Jackson's out there looking like he's a bum or anything. But that's who I got. That's who I got in my 5. Next week it might be. I mean, it's probably going to be around the same 5. You know what I mean? You can only do so much catching up. You know what I mean? It might be in a different order. Maybe Josh Allen goes out and he has a great game this week, and Lamar Jackson throws 4 picks. You know, but that's what it is. Let us know who your MVP is.
Who is your MVP?
Oh, Big C, your MVP? Thank you. I appreciate you.
That's not what they said.
Oh. Okay.
MVP.
Okay. Maybe Mike Jones is your cup of tea. What? Okay.
Moving on.
Let's take a look at the playoff picture. Pretty soon we're gonna be able to pull this up for you here. That's gonna be maybe part of the rebrand, the relaunch, where we're able to show you stats right on screen. But for right now, we gotta do it the ghetto way. Just talk about it. Like I said, this is a new experiment for us, a new learning, a new adventure, a new venture for us in the world of podcasting. So we don't got all the gadgets yet, but we will.
The
We shall
gadget.
have them. We shall have them someday. We shall have them soon someday. But anyway, yeah, playoff pictures. We got the division leaders. Let's start off in the NFC.
Detroit
We got Detroit in the north.
Eagles,
Kings of the north.
Seahawks,
Seahawks in the west.
Atlanta.
Atlanta in the south.
Yep, that's north, east, west, south.
You didn't say the east.
Yes, I did. Eagles.
Eagles are the east. All right, so that's your division leaders in the NFC. Do you got the list of teams that are fighting for that wild card out in the west or the NFC?
I do. I got them in order.
Okay.
So then we got the
So
Vikings.
there's three positions. Three positions. Who's got those three positions right now? The wild card spots.
We got the Vikings at 10-2.
Yep.
We got the Packers at 9-3.
Yep.
And then we got the Commanders at 8-5.
Okay, so we can all agree, right, that the Vikings and the Packers are in. Nobody's gonna catch them. They're both playing outstanding football. If they were in another division beside, they'd be fighting for a division title. It just so happens that they're chasing the top team in the NFL in the Detroit Lions, and Detroit hasn't given no wiggle room, but there's no question that Detroit's going and Minnesota's going. I was wrong about Minnesota. I'll tell you. I thought Sam Darnold was going to fall through the clouds and land on his hiney. I thought that there was no way that he was going to be able to put up the charades for a whole season, but hey, he has, and maybe he's turned a corner. Maybe he's pulling a Baker Mayfield and given a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance, and he's going to be able to establish himself as a starter for another team for the foreseeable future. And maybe after all, he can go and have himself a nice little career. I mean, I don't think it's going to be in Minnesota full time because they did draft the quarterback out of Michigan, McCarthy. So I think Minnesota's going to have some hard questions to answer next year. But yeah, those two teams are definitely in. So that leaves one spot remaining. The Washington Commanders are in that spot right now. Who's got a chance to catch Mikey?
The Bucks in
The
their own
Bucs?
division.
That's
I
not the
think
same division.
it's the Bucks is south, isn't it? Atlanta's
Yeah.
south too.
Who's going to catch Washington?
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I misheard you.
Yeah, the Bucks have a couple ways in. They can maybe catch Washington, but there's also a shot that they can win their division. That's what Mike was talking about. We got a little mixed up.
Sorry about that. I don't know who would catch the Commanders, to be honest.
Well, Washington's got 5 losses, you said, right?
Yeah,
How many do the Bucks have?
6.
Well, then the Bucks could catch them.
And the Cardinals and the Rams, they're all 6-6.
So all 3 of those teams can catch them.
But I don't think they're going to catch them.
You got the remaining schedules right there.
Yeah.
So who's Washington got?
They got the Saints. They're on bye this week. Then they got the Saints. Then they got
Let's
the
say
Eagles.
that's a win. That's a win. Then they got who?
Saints, Eagles.
That's a loss. That's a
Yeah, I got that as a loss too. And then Atlanta and Dallas.
what would you say? Maybe maybe a loss to Atlanta and a win at Dallas. So
That's
maybe
a 50.
2-2. I think that's fair.
Yeah, that put them at 10-5.
So that puts the Washington at 10-5. All right, let's go with the Bucks. What the Bucks got left?
Raiders,
So that's a win.
Chargers,
That's 50-50. What's the other games? See if we can
Cowgirls,
say that's a win.
Panthers,
It's a win. 3 wins.
Saints.
You said Saints still?
Yep.
So let's say 4-1. They got 5 games left.
Yep, they got 5 games left. 4 of them are teams that aren't going to make it to the playoffs.
So let's say they finish the season 4-1. Give the Chargers the win.
Puts them at 10-7.
7-7. That's tied with the Bucks or with Washington. What about Atlanta?
ATL. Oh my man. Where'd it go? It disappeared. Sorry, hold on. Atlanta's remaining schedule. That didn't work.
Here comes the boom. Ready or not.
We got the boom.
Yeah, I don't know who would hold the tiebreaker over Washington and Tampa.
Atlanta's remaining schedule. All right. Vikings,
Say that's a loss.
Raiders,
Win.
Giants,
Win.
Commanders.
Did we say loss or win?
That's tough.
Let's say loss. So they're 2-2 right now. They got 4 games left or 5.
And then the Panthers.
That's a win. So what is their record right now?
They are 6-6.
So that would have them finish. Are you sure they're 6-6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games left. Yeah. 6-6. 3 wins, 3 losses. Six and six.
So it'll be 9-7.
9-8. Yeah. So they that Atlanta missed the playoffs right now if we go by that.
Yeah.
Because that would have Tampa
At number 1.
that would have Tampa winning the South, and Washington has a better record than Atlanta, so they'd have the playoff spot so far. What about the Cardinals?
Cardinals. We got Seattle,
Say a loss.
Patriots,
Win.
Carolina,
Win.
Rams,
Loss.
and the Niners.
Win. What's the record right now?
6-6.
So that takes them to 9-8, so they won't pass Washington. And what about the Rams?
Bills,
Loss.
Niners, Jets,
Win.
Cards,
Win.
and the Hawks.
They probably a loss. So that would eliminate them. So looks like we got our playoff teams in the NFC would be
Lions, Eagles, Hawks, Bucks for division leaders, right?
Yep. And then Green Bay, Minnesota, and Washington. Or yeah.
Yeah, Green Bay, Minnesota, and Washington.
Yeah, find the Chargers. Shut down.
Which is what we were talking about Friday. Is the Bucks will probably take over the South, and I think that's the movement we're going to see in the NFC.
Yeah, I think that's the teams that end up making the playoffs. Like we said, the NFC had less things that can happen than the AFC. But the AFC is starting to they're starting to fizzle out. So I think after this week, maybe we get a clearer picture. But in the AFC, we got the Buffalo Bills in the head of the AFC East. They're division winners. The AFC South, we got the Houston Texans. Nobody's catching them. That division's weak. AFC North, Pittsburgh's going to win that division. I think there's too much ground for. Well, actually, I don't know. Like Pittsburgh's got a tough schedule remaining, bro.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's Steelers' schedule is killer. Yeah, they got a tough schedule, so I'm not ready to push them into that spot. And then out west, the Chargers. I mean, could they collapse and maybe the Chargers catch them? Yeah, but I don't see it happening. But the Chargers do play them head to head, so the Chargers could make that division interesting. If Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs don't come to play, it could get real interesting over in the AFC. But right now, the Chiefs are in that spot, and then your division or your wild card teams are the Baltimore Ravens, the Denver Broncos, and the Chargers.
Yep.
And in the hunt is the Indianapolis Colts and the Miami Dolphins. They're the only other two teams that I think have a shot at making the playoffs at all.
Yep.
So let's start with the Pittsburgh Steelers because they are a division leader. And I just think that there's a good shot that they could end up falling out. And maybe I'm wrong, but the games are too tough. So what's Pittsburgh's record right now?
Pittsburgh is 9-3.
So 9-3. And like I said, you'd think that's crazy that there's a chance that they could not make the playoffs and they're sitting at 9-3 and head of the AFC North. But next week they got the Browns. The Browns have showed that this team can play. Jameis Winston, if nothing else, can score points. And it was just 2 weeks ago that Jameis Winston beat these same Pittsburgh Steelers. But I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna say that Pittsburgh wins this game and they beat the Browns.
Okay.
So that takes them to 10-3, correct?
Yep.
This is where it gets crazy. Then they got the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that's a loss.
I agree.
That takes them to 10-4. Then they got the Ravens. I think the Ravens end up winning this one. I think they end up splitting the season series.
Okay.
So that's a loss. What's that take? That's 10-5.
10-5.
Then they got the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that's a loss. That's 10-6. And this is where it's changed for me. Before I had them losing the Cincinnati. I now have them beating Cincinnati because Cincinnati has nothing to play for. Before when I did this exercise, Cincinnati was still fighting for the playoffs. After last week's loss to after last week's loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cincinnati will be shut down. Half their team won't be playing by the time week 18 comes around. So I got them winning this week. So that takes them to 11-6. Pittsburgh's going to make the playoffs after all. Fly, Eagles fly. Love all the way from Hawaii. Must be nice, brother. I'm sitting here freezing my dickers off, and you're in Hawaii.
What is it, Mahalo?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it sounds about right. Thanks for checking. Thanks for checking us out, Jake from State Farm 808. If you're really Jake from State Farm, my wife is in love with you. And maybe that's weird because my wife's in love with a colored man, but
Nice
I don't know if
khakis.
he's really colored though, because I think him and Patrick Mahomes should start their own race. They're not really black, they're not really white. They're like they're white guys that have a tint to their skin.
They're tan.
But thanks for checking out the show, brother. Yeah, your Philadelphia Eagles definitely look legit. They're one of the top 3 teams in the league, in my opinion. And you never know. Maybe they're going to be headed to Vegas for that Super Bowl. I think they're the number 1 contenders to go and knock off the Detroit Lions. And I think they're very capable of doing it. So we shall see. We shall see.
Yep.
But back to this AFC playoff. Yeah, Pittsburgh's going to make the playoffs. They're going to finish the year at least 11-6. Right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 12. I think they're going to take either the Ravens or the KC game.
Yeah, I don't see it, but maybe. But they're definitely getting in. Baltimore's remaining schedule.
New York Giants.
And they're sitting at 8-5, right?
Yep.
New York Giants, that's a loss. Nah, just kidding.
Steelers.
Steelers. All right, so you think they're going to take it. So that's a loss for Baltimore. Because you think Pittsburgh's going to win it. Okay. We'll go that route. So that's 9 and
6.
9-6.
Texans.
Win.
And the Browns. That's a tough one.
Let's say loss. Just keep it interesting.
Okay.
So that takes them to 10-7.
Is there?
And that'd make Pittsburgh the division winner with 11 wins. All right. Denver Broncos remaining schedule. And their record is right now
8-5.
8. Okay.
We got the Colts.
Win.
We got the Chargers.
Loss.
The Bengals.
Ooh.
I think the Broncos beat the Bengals.
Yeah, okay.
And then KC, which is a L.
Yeah, I'd take a loss. So 2-2. That takes them to 10-7.
10-7.
Chargers.
KC.
What's their record right now?
8-4.
All right, KC. Loss.
Bucks.
Loss.
Broncos.
Loss.
Patriots.
Win.
Las Vegas Raiders.
So that takes them to 10-7 also.
Oh my God.
Indianapolis. And what's their record right now?
6-7.
6-7. No room for error because everybody else finished 10-7.
Broncos.
Lost. We don't have to finish with them. They're out.
All right, 5-7 Dolphins. Jets.
Win.
Texans.
Win.
Niners.
Win.
Browns.
Win.
Jets.
Win. What's that have us at?
10-7.
10-7, folks. That's right. The Miami Dolphins are still going to the playoffs. We're in there. We holding the tiebreaker with the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are going home. The Miami Dolphins are going to the playoffs. We got a shot. We're in there like swimwear. Yeah, we're going to knock out the Buffalo Bills in the first round. That's how we're doing. We're back. We're in the building. Yeah, fins up, baby. Let's get it.
Except y'all gonna lose to the Browns.
We're not going to lose to the Browns. I let you bet all the games. I picked that one game. We're not losing Jameis Winston in his crab leg stealing ass. It ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen.
Yes, Jake from State Farm. If Jim Winston plays earlier, the Browns have a better record.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Like you could see
Jameis
night and
Winston
day.
is definitely the better quarterback out of Deshaun Watson and him.
Night and day.
You can see that this Cleveland Browns team rallies behind Jameis Winston and his crazy talk. They just have more faith in him. Deshaun Watson is a broken man. And I absolutely think that this Cleveland Browns team could have maybe fought for a playoff berth themselves. They got a good defense. They obviously can put up points. I mean, there's no reason that they couldn't have been fighting for a playoff spot right now. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely would have had a better record. What is Cleveland's record right now?
Let's see.
I think they would have actually been smart instead of trying to win these games that they've won, like when they beat Pittsburgh, to lose and draft a quarterback, because that's the only way you're going to be able to afford a quarterback with Jameis Winston or with Watson on the roster, because you just owe Watson so much money.
Yeah, they're 3-9.
Yeah, 3-9, definitely. They would have. I would say they would have. They would have probably won 6 at least. I think that's a reasonable number that they would have at least won 6. But yeah, I think they shouldn't have beat Pittsburgh. They need a quarterback that they can pay low amount of money to, and they just owe Deshaun Watson so much money, so much. That was such a huge blunder. Fully guaranteed contract after sitting out a year, after all the scandals he was going through. They still backed up the Brinks truck to this guy's house. But that's why they're the Cleveland Browns. That's why they're the Browns. That's why they're Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns.
Browns.
That's the way they became the Cleveland Browns.
The Browns could
All
play.
right, Mikey, let's take a look at our power rankings. Power rankings.
Oh, do I gotta go first again?
You don't have to. I'll start it. So we're gonna do the bottom 5 and the top 5. Bottom 5 and top 5. Yeah. Let's
Oh,
start with the bottom
I thought
5.
like from 5 to 1. I didn't do a bottom.
All right.
I can come up with that though.
Number 32, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars. This team, I thought at the beginning of the season was going to be battling Houston for the AFC North title or South title, my fault. The AFC South title. and they've just been terrible the whole year. And now it seems that Trevor Lawrence is going to be gone for the remainder of the season. They just haven't been able to get on track. They got a couple. They got a couple talented players. Doug Peterson has seemed to lost the locker room. I think they're in need of a full rebuild. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you see Mike Vrabel there as the head coach next year. Um, but yeah, Jacksonville's a bad team right now. And number 31, I have the New York Football Giants. Yes, the New York Football Giants. They've struggled all year. They got a decent defense. They got a couple pieces. I think that this team can, if they make the right offseason moves, if they do good in free agency and draft and can hit on some of their draft picks this upcoming year, I think this team can turn it around quick. It's just they're lacking in some real important positions. Offensive line. They need to get the offensive line better. They need to get Malik Neighbors a running mate at the receiver position. I like Slayton, but I think this team they need playmakers. This team needs some playmakers. And I think they've lacked playmakers for the longest time. Even when Eli was here, they had limited amount of playmakers. And I think it would do some due justice to go out and get the next quarterback, whoever it may be, some damn playmakers. You're in the biggest market in all of the world. You're in New York City. Not technically you're in Jersey, but
Oh,
you,
come
you
on.
know, you're in New York. You know,
Let's not go.
start having some, you know, start having some New York pride and bring some stars to New York. People want to play in the big markets. People want to play for the New York teams because it puts their face at the mecca of the world. So you need to add some playmakers, not get one playmaker and be satisfied. And you need to address the quarterback position. The quarterback position, Daniel Jones was a mess up. You probably shouldn't have drafted him. There was a lot of questions about him coming out of the draft when he came out of Duke. Um, there was even more questions when you decided to give him $45+ million a year. Yet you drafted him and you gave him $45 million a year. Make better choices. Make better choices. And I think this team can do a quick turnaround. Number 30, I got the Las Vegas Raiders. Again, they're lacking in a quarterback position, the most important position in all of football. They got a bunch of holes. They got some solid pieces on defense that they can build around. I think they're really looking at Shador Sanders, and I think Shador Sanders wants to get to Las Vegas. Don't be surprised if Shador and Dion don't pull some kind of Eli Manning where they refuse to play anywhere besides Las Vegas. They force their way into there. And don't be surprised if maybe Deion Sanders is the next coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Number 29, I got the New England Patriots. The key thing about these New England Patriots that puts them above all these other teams on this list is that they found themselves a star quarterback. Drake May looks fantastic. He's going to be a star in this league. He is a mix between Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. This New England Patriots team just has no talent anywhere else on the team. They got a little bit of safety and they got a star corner in Christian Gonzalez. Other than that, they don't have playmakers. This team is lacking playmakers to the fullest extent. They need to draft some guys that are just physically gifted and are bigger, faster, stronger than everybody else. In number 28, I'm going to say the Titans. This Titans team has been horrid all year. They let Derrick Henry walk out the door, and he's rushing for 1,400 yards and 13 touchdowns somewhere else. You should have re-signed him, let him finish his career, and possibly went down in history as the greatest Titan of all time. I think that was a mistake. Will Levis is inconsistent. He's not the quarterback of the future. You need a new head coach. They just got a litany of problems, and it's not looking promising. Their future's not looking promising.
Not looking
And then I
very
got
good.
a special place in hell for the New York Football Jets. You're below the bottom 32. I wish there was a whole your own section of it. You're disgusting to me. You make me sick. The Jets are terrible. They're the worst team in the world, in the history of the world. And I hope you're living in misery and hell with Aaron Rodgers. That's my bottom five.
I got Giants, Jags, Raiders, Pats, Panthers. So I got Giants worse, then the Jags, then the Raiders, then the Patriots, then the Panthers. I forgot about the Titans.
Forgot about the Jets. They're damn
I wouldn't do
disgusting.
that. My pops is a Jets fan.
All right. Pops makes a loser. All right. Top 5 power rankings. These are the top 5 teams in the NFL according to me. And if it's according to me, you know it's on the up and up. Okay. At number 5. Number 5. Number 5. Number 5. I got the Minnesota Vikings.
Dang.
It still hurts me to say that because I just don't trust Sam Darnold. I just don't trust him. And to put them in the top 5 of a power ranking going into week 14 of an NFL season just seems crazy to me. I still feel like he's going to fall off the face of the earth and revert back to that old Sam Darnold. But the Minnesota Vikings have played great all year. Aaron Jones has been a nice addition at running back coming over from the Green Bay Packers. They got Justin Jefferson, who may or may not be the number 1 receiver in all of football. This Minnesota Vikings defense, though, has played lights out. Key free agent signings. Van Ginkel from the Dolphins. That was a huge signing. I wish we would have re-signed him. They're playing lights out. Number 4, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. What was that?
Oh, I was saying the Vikings got a pretty interesting schedule. You got Atlanta, Bears, Hawks, Packers, Lions.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll probably drop them last 2, maybe. The other one should be win. That's going to get them in the playoffs. Number 4, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they're probably playing right now. They're probably playing at maybe an 8th or 9th level in the power rankings, but they only have 1 loss. They got the greatest quarterback in the world on their football team, and they got the number 1 coach in football, Andy Reid. Until someone knocks them off, they're up there. They're up there. Number 3, I got the Philadelphia Eagles. They've won 8 or 9 straight. They've just looked phenomenal. Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley got them this offense moving and the number 1 rushing attack in the NFL. Vic Fangio's got this defense playing lights out. They're number 3 for me. Number 2, I got the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen. He's playing his best year of football so far. He's He's made all of you believers. But Josh Allen will hurt your feelings in the playoffs.
Believers.
Oh, yes. It shall happen.
It
He's going to let each and every one of you down when it comes playoff time because that's what the Buffalo Bills do. That's what the Buffalo Bills do. So I will put him at number 2. I will give him his flowers. I'll give the city of Buffalo their flowers. But this is the only rewards that you'll get. This is the only pat on the back you will get is regular season awards. Regular season leading the power rankings. Because the city of Buffalo is doomed. You're never winning a Super Bowl. Never. Never.
Never.
The Buffalo Bills, number 2. And number 1, Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are the number 1 team in the NFL. Can you believe it? Can you
Yeah.
believe it?
Not really. I
The
mean,
Detroit Lions, they're playing phenomenal football still. Still.
they hungry.
When's the last time the Lions lost? Did they start the year 0-1? Did they lose to the Philadelphia Eagles week 1? Or maybe it wasn't the Eagles. Did they start off 0-1?
Let's see.
Because if they did, that's pretty impressive. That's almost on par with the 72 Dolphins if they did. But yeah, the Detroit Lions, they got that double-headed monster at running back, Montgomery and Gibbs. St. Brown's a fantastic receiver. They got Jared Goff's playing at a great level. This defense is playing lights out. Imagine if they had a Hutchinson still. It's terrible that he went down with an injury. I wish he could get back in time for these playoffs, but that's not possible.
They lost to the Bucks week 2,
Week 2.
20-16.
So it wasn't week 1, it was week 2, but Detroit is my number 1 team on the power rankings, on the game changer power rankings.
Number
What
5.
you got to say for yourself?
My list is the same. The only difference is I got the Steelers at 5. But then I got Steelers, KC, Philly, Buffalo, Detroit. I put the Steelers above Minnesota. I have more faith in the Steelers than I have in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota's defense is just playing so well. That's why I had to put them up there. Brian Flores got them playing lights out. He's probably going to get another head coaching job this week coming up, or this year coming up. But hey, you can't go wrong either way. Let's touch base on this Thursday night football game. It's a good one. It's the Packers versus the Lions in Detroit. And this should be a great game.
Division
technically, the Packers can still catch these Lions. Do you give the Packers any chance of winning this?
I ended up picking Detroit, but I got Detroit by 3, 28-25. So, I mean, anything can happen, but I just think they're outmatched with the dual running backs and just Goff in general. So, and these Lions they're a tough team. I don't know if the Packers can do it. I mean, it could go either way, really. But the way Detroit's been playing, the way and how they've kept winning since week 3, I'm going to go Detroit. It's hard to pick against a team that's sitting there busting ass and coming out with dubs every week.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Packers will keep it close. I think the Packers can do a good job and get under Jared Goff's skin and cause problems for this offense. I think it's Detroit's defense against Jared Goff and their offense. Besides last week, Jared Goff has had a problem with turnovers. He's usually good for one or two a game. I think Detroit gets under his skin, causes some turnovers, and I think that's how they win. I don't think Detroit's offense goes in there and bullies the Packers defense. I think it's a pretty good game on that side of the ball. I just think that Detroit's defense is going to give the Packers offense problems.
Yeah, their
I
5 of the 6 games held opponents to under 21.
I
So
really would like to see the Packers win this just to make it interesting. But Detroit's just playing on a different level right now, and we shall see. This is a measuring stick game. This is a game to see if these Packers or these Lions are as good as advertised.
yeah,
Because the Packers are one of the best teams in football.
yeah.
They are one of the best teams in football.
I mean, Green Bay has some secondary injuries that can hinder them there too. And like I said, 5 of the last 6 games, Detroit has kept their opponents under 21 points, which is kind of crazy. I think Goff and Love are pretty evenly matched, so it doesn't really come down to that. But I think at the end of the day, I think the Detroit Lions still take this one. Sonic and Knuckles run rampant in Detroit.
Yeah. Well, remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. We ran over a little bit tonight. Sorry. There was a little bit of a. Sorry if that session wasn't. These sessions we just did will be much easier giving us in 2 weeks. 3 weeks. They're a little stagnant because we gotta do it verbally instead of just pulling up a page. But trust me, all that stuff will be taken care of here soon, and things will be smoother. So sorry if it was a little dull there for a few minutes. We got to do some things. We got to do some work like we're cavemen.
Me caveman. Me
So stupid, even the caveman can do it.
Nice, dude.
But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, share. Remember, January 1st, if you want some moolah, come holla at your boys. Holla at your boys. Holla at your
January
boys.
1st. January 1st.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Until
Thank you
then,
for kicking into this. We love you.
Thanks for kicking the can down the street with the old football guys.
We love the Blitzens. All you Blitzens.
Yeah. Let's
You were calling them
great
Blitzens.
game tomorrow night. We'll see you Friday. Same place, same bat channel. Make sure to keep an eye out. I'll be doing a show with TD Finstock tomorrow at some point. Keep a watch out for that. And until next time, we'll see you later. Peace.
Love you.